Hello and welcome back to Supermiata. This is Kaiko. This is our NC project car. It's basically going to be a track toy. Just got it back from paint. I'm going to see if the video will show the paint here. This is the current 30AE Racing Orange, which is paint code A8X. You can look at in your door, Jim. And then we took that paint code and then added silver and gold mica in equal parts, 0.004 hex. And so it didn't really show up in this light. Looks great in daylight, but you can see it's got that little bit of a kind of a pearly quality. This car, we're it's going to get NC Xidas. It's going to get our big brake kit, which we're working on. We should have a 13-inch big brake kit for it with brake ducts and everything. Probably in the next, I'd say 4 or 5 months, we'll have that available on our website. This is an eBay lip spoiler. You can find these. Look for that shape. I don't know. These were cheap. This was like 80 bucks shipped or something. So we know they're disposable, so I don't want to put a fancy $1,000 carbon split around there because we're just going to rip it off anyway. We didn't paint match it though. It's just held up with some cardboard boxes. And then we'll actually put like probably a 4-inch aluminite extension on there. We like to use the 10 mil aluminite. That's the aluminum sandwich that has the corrugated plastic in between. It's like a laminate you can buy from sign companies. Makes really good splitter and under tray material. The 6mm is lighter, but it's not quite stiff enough. Under aero loads, it'll kind of bend and flex and wobble. So we like to use the 10 mil for splitters. For under trays, you can use the 6 mil stuff. You notice there's a hole drilled here. It's because we're putting flares on here. We already have some. In fact, that's the flare. These are the big DG Motorsports flares we had painted. These are fiberglass. We're going to do. I'm not sure if we're going to do sheet metal screws or if we're going to do nutserts. We haven't decided yet. I think we want to do nutserts because the flare overlaps the fender, and we want to be able to take them off for servicing. If we need to take the nose off, we don't want to have to undo the rivets. So we'll probably do nutserts for the flares. But it's going to have flares. We're running 18 by 10s all the way around with 265, 35, 18 tires. We run a variety of different tires. People ask us what tire we run, and it's, tire of the month, whatever the hot tire is that month, and 6 months later it'll be obsolete, right? Currently we have a set of, these are Falcon Rt660s, real good bang for the buck currently. These are one of the fastest Super 200s right now, and they're really inexpensive and they seem to last pretty well. But we've run, a variety of different tires. It depends on what you're doing with the car, whether you want maximum grip or you want them to last or what have you. The rear, this is all cut away. It's kind of rough, but the flare rides way up here and around like that. So what we did to give tire clearance, because our tires are going to stick out probably to there. So we wanted to be able to have a flare that covers it. And so the tire wouldn't hit because the OEM fender would be like down here somewhere, and the tire would smash into it. So we cut this all away and had our body shop basically weld and seal this so there's no moisture is going to get in there. It was actually quite a bit of work. In A and B, this is easier to do, to cut and basically seal it up. But for the NC, it's actually, there's some additional structure in there that made this a little bit difficult. And they painted over it. It's a little rough here, but it didn't really matter because it's going to be all covered by the flare. The main thing is that we've got room for the tire. And you can see the top of the fender well is basically right here, so we'll be able to get full bump travel. The Xidas that we just released for this car have actually more bump travel than stock. The stock tire goes to a certain point, and with the Xidas we can actually go further, so we want to be able to take advantage of that. That's why we built these flares so tall. What else? DG Motorsports carbon hardtop. Fit and finish on these isn't great. It's basically a race piece, it's not like a show quality piece. And this has the current small rear window. I think he's working on a version that has a bigger window that's going to go a little further down, but I didn't want to wait, so I just got the standard version that he has. I think this is an acrylic window, so not really ideal for motorsports. You want like polycarbonate or Lexan. The acrylic cracks a little easier, but these were inexpensive and it fits, so we figured we'll just take it and stick it in there. But we painted it because the carbon didn't look great underneath them, but I wanted to do body color, so this is all, and I think this is bolted in, right? This isn't, we're not using, let me look here. Yeah, actually it's using the OEM front latches, and the rear, we're just gonna use these plates here. What else? The body, other than that, it's gonna be pretty much stock. One of the things that I did, just as an homage to the early NAs, That's the factory color down there. I left that unpainted, and we'll do a little bit of a graphic down there. It'll be like a big orange Supermiata graphic, kind of like what we. What's that? Yeah. Oh yeah, hood vents. Yeah, track spec. Good. Thanks for reminding me. Track spec Motorsports. We've got a set of hood vents. We actually have a combo of set of hood vents. We didn't use. They don't have an NC specific kit, so I used the ones from the C5. What they call their T1. That's the old SCCA T1 class. Their C5 Z06 vents, and it's basically a pretty good sized vent that goes up in here. And then we have another set of, I think, universal vents that go across right here, just behind where the radiator sits. So it'll be like, you know, the traditional kind of U-shaped vents. And then we also have another. They have another kind of a parallelogram vent for the fenders. We're going to. Oh, cameras in our spot. We'll do a set of fender vents right across here. So we're going to cut into these lovely fenders and put a big vent there. And there's the under fender there. So we're actually going to have to cut inside to actually get proper airflow and get them to work. We're going to have to do some more surgery up underneath there, but we'll do that with the Sawzall. What else? I think that's it for the outside. So anyway, that's the color. Right now it's all stock. The car is completely bone stock, literally has the stock suspension on it. This was our primary development car for the NC Xidas. So for this, we'll be using the race weights, of course. We'll be using the 11 and 7 kilo race weights, a little bit different sway bars. We'll be doing our a version of our bronze bushing kits that we're doing for the NAMB. This is our bronze bushing kit. That's basically urethane with bronze sleeve around the steel pin so that they have super low friction and really good, really low deflection. So we'll be releasing a kit for this car probably summer. If I had to guess, I'd say the 863 kit for the NC will be around summer. So if you think in mid-year you're going to be doing bushings on your car, you know, keep an eye out for those. Wing, this is getting a track spec Motorsports G-Stream wing, and actually has a separate brand. It's called G-Stream. It's a big 2D wing. It's kind of like this. This is an old APR 250. It's similar to that, but it's a bigger cord. So the cord is the front to back measurement. The G-Stream, we're using the G800, which is more cord, and also it's more heavily cambered. The APR 250 is really shallow cambered. The G-Stream is more curved like this, so it's going to be developing more downforce. So you're asking about power. What are we doing for power? Well, we're going to put a Jaguar V12 in it. No, just kidding. We're going to put, we're actually on the fence. We're going to start with the normally aspirated build. We'll just do a header and some bolt-ons. And we may do an EFR, a low mount EFR, using the Gleason Manufacturing low mount and the Fab 9 intercooler with an EFR 6258. So with the stock engine. This is an NC2, so this is the one with the forged stock bottom end. It currently has the 5-speed in it, which we have, in fact, right over in the corner there, we've got a Walter Motorsports blueprinted 6-speed transmission. And we chose the NC1 gearing because it's a slightly lower 6th gear. You need to get past there, Eric? Go ahead. That's Eric. What's that? Don't forget the diff. Yeah, we have a custom tuned, Supermiata tuned OS Geekin diff. And for the time being, we're going to stick with the standard 4.1 rear gear in this car. Probably it'll be a little bit too tall for the normally aspirated build, but once it gets the turbo, that'll be just about right, I think, with a 7,800 RPM redline. We're not going to tune for kill mode on this thing. We're thinking probably if we do the turbo, around 300 horsepower, and for that we'll try to do that with the stock engine, see if the stock engine holds together, and just keep the boost down to around 10 or 12 psi and see if it'll tolerate that. Mind you, we drive them pretty hard. We have a couple of pro drivers, so we'll a lot of times do a track day. We'll have 2 or 3 drivers sharing the car, so we can put 2 or 3 hours of actual on-track time per day over for one day, so we can easily have 4 or 5, 6 hours for a weekend. So that's a lot of hours to be putting on the kit. So that's why we don't go kill mode. That's why we're pushing the engine pretty hard, but we think 300 horsepower with the stock NC2 engine, good oil cooler, and good cooling should do the trick. We will find out. What else we got into this? We have our own sport clutch available for this. For those of you familiar with our NAMB sport clutches, we will have pretty soon, actually, I think probably in the next, I think by March or so, We should have our NC sport clutches available on the market, both a 5-speed and a 6-speed version. Those are the hallmarks of our sport clutch is they have very low pedal effort. They only have about 5% more pedal effort than stock, but 15 to 20%, actually, I take that back, 20 to 30% more torque capacity. So our puck setup will hold 320 foot-pounds, 320 foot-pounds of torque on our puck, and our organic is in the mid-200s. So any normally aspirated thing you can run with the organic, and if it's a low boost forced induction kit with your NC, you can run organic, and the organics are super drivable. Really, they retain the stock pedal throw, so they engage kind of in the same spot. They're not like disengaging down by the floor. So those will be available on our website pretty soon. What else? We have our steering spacer in this car. Let's see here. Let me show that. That's that cylinder you see there between the column and the wheel. It's a 55 millimeter spacer. It basically moves the wheel closer to the driver, and because it's angled, because there's an angle on the shaft, it basically raises the wheel a little bit too. You can see because it's making the distance a little taller there. So for us tall guys, that's the way to go. Seats, this will get Safecraft FIA 6-point harnesses. We have a hard dog roll bar upstairs, and the roll bar has been paint matched. So when the weather's nice, we can drive this thing with the top off, and we'll have a color matched roll bar. So it's basically painted this color, which will look pretty sweet. And we're running the same OMP HTER 400 seats that we have in all of our cars. So this is our race car. This is our NB race car. That's the OMP HTR 400, and this is Blub, our semi-famous 86 project car, same seat, HTR 400, and on the passenger side, a standard HTER. So we'll run those in this car because that's what we like. What wheels are running? We will be, some people are going to ask about wheels. We are still working on getting wheel production up. It's been a real challenge for our little small company, but we do plan to try to get wheels in production at some point during 2022. The first wheels we're going to start on this, I think we ordered some Enkeis because that was the only thing available that fit and had the correct offset that we wanted for this, but we're going to be running an 18x10 wheel. And eventually, hopefully, before the end of 22, we will have an 18x10 6UL or possibly our new Kodo design, which is a variant on the 6UL. And I think that pretty much covers it. We'll have more videos. Again, there's not much to show because it's all stock. I'd show you under the hood, just a stock engine. There's nothing to see there. So right now, it's just the color and the conceptual stuff. But probably in the next, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks, we'll have the rest of the bodywork done. You can see what it's going to look like. We'll roll it outside and with the big wheels on it, and it'll be lowered. And you'll be able to see kind of conceptually what it looks like without the go-fast parts. But it's going to be a pretty hot-looking car. I really dig the way that spoiler works in there. This is, again, this is an eBay part. You can ask us what, I don't even remember what brand it is. It's some random, like, eBay brand. But it's an $80 urethane spoiler that we had painted. So don't expect super fine quality. This does fit when it's screwed in there. It's not bolted on. It's just basically held up with some little cardboard boxes for the time being. But it's a good base for a splitter because it's a nice flat surface and it fills in all the gaps. So that's why we chose that piece. And also because it's disposable. If we tear it off at the track, I'm not whining over a $1,000 carbon splitter. So I think that's about it. Have any other questions, contact us. Make a post down there in the comments below, and we will see you at the track.